The child was born but couldn't sit still. 86 years later with no regret. You know that man can't sit still yet. The Great Depression couldn't get him down. He worked for his dad's store in town, collecting money in small amounts for poor whites and blacks in their furniture accounts. Stetson Kennedy wants us all to be free. Stetson Kennedy wants us all to be free. As he'd collect, he'd talk to folks. He'd hear legends, tales, songs, and jokes. Now this fine treasure he'd record and write. He was colorblind, didn't see black and white. Writer's project for the WPA. With Zora Neale Hurston, he earned his pay. Crackers and blacks, they talk for hours. It was a barefoot history in this land of flowers.
About his mother,
right.
She died of a broken heart. She had heart problems because she kept on fighting for her son. Like I'm struggling right now with the stress and everything or whatever, because this thing it beats you down. The system beats you down to where you can't win. Were you ready to, you know what, I'm going to take this money, just forget about it? No, my father would not be forgetting. My father, you know, he died. He died on national TV. I had to see him die on national TV. A lot of people don't get to see their parents die. You know, don't know why. They just go on and, you know, you don't get to say goodbye. But I felt the same pain that my father felt on that day when he was screaming, I can't breathe. When he was saying that he was tired of being harassed, tired of freaking being arrested, his money being stole from him. And he keep on spreading like, I'm not giving up and this is the fight. I'm in this fight forever. And no matter how long it takes, 20 years from now, we deserve justice. And I want to get justice for other people. And I want other families, you know, to know, like, it's hard, but you got to keep on. You got to keep the name out there because people will forget.
I just want to encourage you, you know, self-care, take care of yourself so that you can be here for the long run. I can feel that pain that you feel right now and that this weighing down on you. Don't let it take you out, because we need your voice. So you know, whatever we can do, and I'm saying this me personally, I'm just using this minute, we're already over time. Hit me up in my messages, let me know anything I can do to help you out, and I'm sure everyone else on this panel and in this network will do anything we can to help you out with your journey. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, and I appreciate you taking the time out, giving me your platform to let me speak my truths.
Absolutely.
And anytime in the future, I'm glad to come on and talk.
The week that was on the 30th of December, 2017. This will be our last program for the year 2017. Happy New Year 2018 to everyone out there. With deep sorrow, we report the death of Erica Garner. Erica Garner was the daughter of Eric Garner, who was murdered at the hands of the NYPD. The death was announced by the national leader, Dr. Sharpton. And let me see if I can go to that particular move through here. We had technical difficulty this morning, so we are a bit late here as we attempt to. The announcement was made today by Dr. Sharpton, the national leader. He said she has passed. He was outside of the medical center with Ishal Snipes Garner by his side. Her heart was broken when she didn't get justice. The heart attack just dealt with the pieces that were left. Snipes Gardner noted that her daughter was born at the same hospital. That was the Woodhuff Hospital. She died there. And Dr. Sharpton will be announcing the funeral arrangements. He did note the family did not remove Garner from life support because her daughter Alicia wanted to give her a chance to come out of the coma. But she was severely brain damaged. Her daughter Alicia asked the family to give her more time on Thursday. Sharpton said at a press conference, late Saturday after a rally, of course, at the headquarters there. National Action, Senator Eshaw and a couple of us were there by the bed, and the daughter said she wanted to talk to her mother alone, and we all left. And when the daughter came out, she said to her grandmother, Eshaw, I want you all to give her time. Sharpton said she sensed or knew that there was a question of whether to pull the plug, as they say, or whether to give it time. They decided they would wait, though they had been told there was little brain activity. She was brain dead. The funeral arrangements will be announced later next week. Said the Garner family and her two children will always have the National Action Network's support, and we have tweeted that Erica, the world loves you, I love you, and I'm glad you came into our lives. May you find a peace in the next life that you deserved while you were here. I will always love you, my sister, love you. The account that was from the Twitter, she passed away this morning. The reports were real. We didn't desert her. When you report this, you remember she was a human, mother, daughter, sister, aunt. Her heart was bigger than the world. It really was. She cared when most people would have not. She was good. She only pursued right, no matter what. No one gives her justice. She followed us on the Twitter that morning, and we'll cover this story as it continues to unfold, and of course Dr. Sharpton will remain on the case. A very unfortunate situation. We have an interview here with, I'm not sure we'll position this at the front, we probably will at the front of the broadcast, with Benjamin Dixon. Benjamin Dixon is, like it or not, and the Benjamin Dixon show, he's a founder of Progressive Army. He interviewed her, and we have, it's about 2 minutes, we have it in its entirety, where she talks about her life and how things were broken in her life because of the death of her father. And she continued to struggle on, although she was not in the best of health, as one would say. But she continued there. Erica Garner was a supporter of Bernie Sanders. You can see that on our show mass. She supported Bernie and spoke there from the New York Times. Basically, things are coming in here. Basically, the same situation. The mayor de Blasio praised Ms. Garner's unshakable sense of justice and passion for humanity. And it also cites the interview which you will hear that's on Benjamin Dixon's show. Erica took the troop with her everywhere she went, and even if the troop made people uncomfortable, he said, referring to her willingness to confront President Obama and demand that he take a stance against racially charged policing tactics. So in other words, she was, as the adage would say, was not afraid to speak truth to power. Now, this is also from the Times on July 21st, 2016, at the White House last week, and this is DeRay McKisson, a black activist, Black Lives Matters activist who was arrested only days before in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, for protesting police violence against African Americans, had a lengthy list of demands for President Obama. The next day, Erica Garner, whose father, Eric Garner, was killed in New York, who placed him in a chokehold, accused President Obama after a town meeting, style meeting with demands, accosted, with demands of our own. Why have no police officers been convicted or sent to jail for killing African American men? As he responded to the latest confrontation between police. This was in Baton Rouge. It's complicated. He said, we covered this, incidentally, when he spoke. The president at that time gave his condolences to Erica Garner and said he was not in a position to offer more because it would be seen, he said, as placing his thumb on the scale during an open Justice Department investigation. That the investigation is been finished, but she spoke up, and there's various people who won't finish this, but this was prior to that particular situation here. And from The Guardian, this is worldwide coverage here. Donna Lieberman, the executive director of the New York Civil Liberties Union, said Erica Garner showed incredible courage and remarkable resolve and bravely transformed her unspeakable personal pain into political power as she became a leader in the fight for police reform. Lieberman also mentioned Eric Garner's mother, who also campaigned on the issue of police brutality, Gwen Carr, and the rest of Erica's family, who once again must endure the loss of a loved one who died much too young. Tanya Lago, the attorney in charge of the criminal defense practice at Legal Aid Society, said Garner put a great spotlight on and the need for sweeping criminal justice reform. And she speaks here, incidentally, in the interview of the money there from de Blasio. This is from The Guardian. Erica Garner's death is a horrible tragedy. I am praying for her family who already have been through so much. This city will miss her unshakable sense of justice and passion for humanity. So this is, he put it in his Twitter account. This is the mayor, de Blasio. She had been an activist writer, including for The Guardian, in 2016. And announcing the death here, we already talked about she was a warrior to the end. Her heart had been broken. This is more words from Dr. Al Sharpton, the national leader from Bernie Sanders, said that although Garner didn't ask to be an activist, she responded to a personal tragedy of seeing her father die. She speaks to that in the interview with Mr. Dixon by becoming a leader, proponent for criminal justice reform and for an end to police brutality. That is from Bernie Sanders. the junior senator from Vermont, Erica Garner, dead at too young, 27 years old. Let me just, while we are here, we have Uncle Carl Rove. He's just basically talking about some people that have died in the past. We won't spend a lot of time on that particular death situation there. He speaks of Robert Novak, and I think we'll end it at Robert Novak and some other conservatives that have died of the year. We pretty much filtered that through. Let me go to one other thing. And we also will put on the week that was, we'll have the final speech by Senator Al Franken of Minnesota. He will be leaving the Senate on the 2nd of January, which is next week. Briefly here, how the DJ Trump era is changing the federal bureaucracy. A lot of things are happening. End of September, all cabinet departments except for Homeland Security, Veteran Affairs, and the Interior have a fewer permanent staff, no doubt about that. Dismantling of the government footprint, that has been something on the minds of conservatives for a very long time. The White House is warning agencies to brace for deep cuts in the 2019 budget. It's announced, will announce early next year as part of an effort to lower the deficit to pay for the tax cuts to the rich. Efforts so far to reshape the force of roughly 2 million servants that serve as the backbone of government. Hiring freeze, technically lifted in the spring, has been kept in practice at most agencies. They will get roughly the, according to morale has been very low. This is Tony Reardon. He's president of the National Treasury Employees Union. It represents 150,000 federal workers at more than 30 agencies. There are several unions that represent these workers. Oftentimes we run on automatic pilot and continue to fund programs that don't produce results they were intended. That is from Stephanie Valentine, an analyst at the Education Department. But you can't keep blindly spending, because that's what we have always done. And I'm not sure where these are some misguided public servants. That's all we can say about them. In President Obama's first year in office, he added 68,000 permanent employees, growing to 1.84 million. The last time federal workers were dropped were under President Clinton. One of the biggest reductions, Bureau of Prisons, 2,320 workers lost there. They are moving to, and this is really a situation where they're moving to private prisons, which many of these Republicans own shares in. Bureau of Census lost 1,000 workers there. The Environmental Protection Agency, only this Pruitt person has only 508 so far, but there'll be more than that. The Internal Revenue Service lost 6,801 permanent staffers in the first 9 months of the year, so they're down almost 10%. They say 9%, but it's more likely about 10% of there at the Internal Revenue. During the first 6 months of the administration, 71,285 career workers quit or retired. That is up from 5,000 who left during the same period in 2009. A lot of retirements there. In 2009, during the Depression, it was mostly people left for retirement reasons. Among them is Noel Combe, is the former infrastructure director for 18F, the highest profile government office created by the General Service Administration to boost digital services there. So a lot of people have left. Some agencies number of people leaving has been creeping, according to former officials at Occupational Safety and Health. A wave of recent retirements have depleted the managerial staff at the enforcement agency's 70 field offices. In all, agencies the agency has shedded 119 workers there. That's a 6% drop. That is at the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. It's starting to create major problems, no doubt about that. Enforcement actions must be reviewed by supervisors in multiple offices. Spokesman for the Department of Labor declined to comment on the current numbers. I said OSHA. No doubt it is less. Across the government, roughly a third of workers who were hired in 2015 will be eligible for retirement in 2020. And 2020 is coming very quickly. Other workers in limbo because their job could cease to exist. The precarious state right now is a tiny chemical safety board, one of 19 small agencies that Trump no doubt will get rid of. The $11 million office investment to cause a major chemical accidents. They will no doubt be gone. Sutherland is still busy boosting the spirits of her. This is a person there, 43 employers, while formulating a shutdown plan there of the 628 key positions requiring Senate confirmation. Only 240 were confirmed as of Friday. That is tracked by the Washington Post. Slow recruitment and vetting, you could bet that is happening. 79 nominees across the government have waited more than 100 days for Senate hearings. The Department of Labor, most top political posts still lack appointments by DJ Trump. The clock is running out on hundreds of acting types. A little-known law called the Vacancy Act, designed to spur presidents to staff their agencies, kicked in, limiting them from making official decisions. Now, the law allows acting officials to serve up to 300 days. That's roughly about a year. That forces a complicated workaround immigration customs, where the deputy director has served as acting director while he waits for confirmation. That is at ICE. The Small Merit System Protection Board, which considers appeals for federal workers who believe they were unfairly fired or demoted, has not heard a case in 11 months. It's a long time. One Obama appointee to the three-person board left in January, leaving two vacancies. Trump has yet to nominate anyone. So there's no quorum. Thus, they have 700 cases there with no one to take the cases. The president has sent no science advisor. The Office of Management and Budget is waiting for Senate confirmation to confirm its nominee for deputy director and chief for financial management. Somebody named Connolly, a Democrat from Virginia, an advocate for modernizing federal technology systems, says 8 of the 24 agencies were without chief information officers. So the government is basically not running. Major federal defense giant General Dynamics has complained in earnings call that leadership vacancies have slowed contracts awarding, etc. So even the military-industrial complex is yelling. Housing and urban development managers, for example, are being evaluated for the first time on how effectively they address poor performance. That's according to Robinson John, president of the American Federation of Government Employees, Local 476, which represents HUD workers. How effectively they address poor performance. Telework, a popular policy that has expanded under President Obama. Work from home has come under scrutiny as a question whether it's licensed to goof off. the Agriculture and Commerce Department are now moving to restrict flexible work time. From Wilbur Ross, while he recognizes that telework is widely used in public and private sector, he added that the agency heads need to make sure that they have systems in place to ensure the management objectives are met. There are other tensions here, reassignment of workers from Matthew Allen, a former Pentagon spokesman and one-time communication chief of the Bureau of Land Management, said he found himself quickly marginalized after he suggested that the Bureau should share more public information about its activities. In late September, he's abruptly transferred to a Nova office and demoted, along with several other senior people at the Department of Interior on the Zinke. Allen said he witnessed a level of paranoia about whistleblowers and information, etc. This is pathetic. The administration has made its big push for employee accountability at the Veterans Office from the excesses we reported on those in 2014. Allowing the agency to fire the more poor performers are workers accused of misconduct with a 15-day notice. And some poor character named John Fuller, who wrestled with leaving for a month. He's a retired Army major, a lifelong Republican who voted for Trump. He had played a pioneering role in the federal government at the VA chief of race relations and cultural educator, traveling the country to meet with workers. So passionate for the job, he left. He's 65 years old. But Fuller said he was told that his travel budget would be shifted to other priorities. Days before Christmas, he put in his retirement papers in a letter. He blamed officials for pulling support from what he called a genuine race relations dialogue. Well, that's the end to him. His retirement's effective next week. Let's see. Let's go to ESPN. We have, and then we'll go to Senator Franken. Somewhere here we are. Incidentally, we are still in Kwanzaa, and we are moving along with the celebration here. And I was trying to see what we have in terms of. We'll have to go over here. Which day we're in now? We are moving down these days, and we've been looking at the themes of Kwanzaa, and we'll have to get up here. Okay, we are at Nina Purpose. We're at Nina Purpose today for Kwanzaa. This was a celebration founded by Malana Ran Karinga. Dr. Malana Ran Karinga. And let's just get the score here. I saw it. It passed right by me, and we'll pass back here. We haven't quite got a final here, but Washington has 14 points there, and Penn State University has 28, 4 minutes and 15 seconds left in that particular game. There's some Wisconsin, Miami. That will be tonight, and Mississippi State, it appears, beat Louisville here, and who else is here? I guess we'll get the quick summary here, and this will do it for us. Iowa State, number 19, edges Memphis in the Liberty Bowl, 21-20. I guess it can't get any faster than that. And from our friends at the Citizens for Legitimate Government got this in. This is
AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Iowa State taking on number 20 Memphis.
Actually, from the Marine Corps, is a newspaper here. Marines get new skis for cold weather here at training. Is spending $7 million on new skis to train in cold weather there. Cold weather at the Marines found that some of their current skis were breaking. That's according to Barbara Hanby. So they're buying 2,648 sets of new skis, boots, and etc. For Marine Infantry. The first 1,400 sets of skis and gear will be purchased in the second quarter, Q2 of 2018 and 2019. The Marine, with the Marine Corps' rotational force, I guess in Norway, the crux of this article, they're training to fight a winter war in the Korean Democratic Republic. Regimes receive NATO ski systems, which boast of flexible bindings and a ski match boot, whatever that's supposed to be, and will increase focus on possible conflicts, including the Russian Federation and North Korea. So you heard it here. This will do it for us. We'll see you on the Monday morning quarterback on a Monday morning, which will be the first, let me see here. Yeah, 1st of January 2018. And we'll have our New Year's Eve program on Sunday, a special programming here. Have a good weekend, everyone, and we will see you on the Monday morning quarterback. Again, Happy New Year from us at WBRN Radio and the Bostonred Network.